Now, your Stormtracker 13 forecast first, sponsored by Tidelands Health.
Good Thursday morning. Got another comfortable start to our day today. Like yesterday, got a few spots down into the mid-60s this morning. Got 64 for Hartsville, 66 for Sherrill, 67 to 72 along the border belt, and 72 for Florence as well. That's much cooler than this time yesterday when you were 77. 73 to 74 along the beaches, and it's going to be another warm and humid day today. Kind of hot inland, not quite as hot at the beaches there. 78 to 90. 78 to 80 at 9 a.m., 85 to 87 by lunch, 88 for the beaches, 94 again inland. So again, hot inland, not quite as hot at the beaches with some onshore flow, but humidity is on the rise as we head towards and through the weekend. We'll talk more about that coming up. News 13 This Morning starts right now.
This morning on News 13, officials canceled the public interview schedule for Horry County Administrator candidates. Why the sudden change in just a bit.
We're also going to hear why authorities in Robeson County are warning everyone to make sure your vehicles are locked, and also what they want you to look out for coming up.
Live with breaking news, this is News 13 This Morning.
Now we continue to follow breaking news for you in Horry County. Right now, crews are on the scene of a house fire in Loris.
Now this is happening on Liberty Street, which is where we find News 13's Taylor Hernandez live. Taylor, what have you learned so far?
Well, this started as it was a vacant house fire here on Liberty Street in Loris. Now, this call was called in around 4:30 this morning. I'll go ahead and step out so you guys can kind of see the scene behind me. It's still an active scene, but we're told this fire is under control. Now, when crews arrived here, they said that the fire was through the roof. There are no reported injuries. Loris Fire Department and Horry County Fire were on scene. Santee Cooper was also here assisting. Now, right now, they are working to put out those hot spots. Crews just arrived here. They're overhauling the fire, and they're going to start investigating this fire. Again, it's off of Liberty Street here in Loris. Reporting live from News 13 this morning with breaking news in Loris, I'm Taylor Hernandez.
Thanks, Taylor. Of course, we'll continue to follow this story throughout the morning. In other news today, the Horry County Council decided to not hold its first round of interviews for a permanent county administrator in public. Yesterday's interviews were scheduled to be public, but Councilmember Johnny Vaught moved to go into executive session for the interviews.
After about 5 minutes of contentious discussion, Council voted 10-2 in favor of the executive session and started interviewing the candidates privately. Council Chair Johnny Gardner was pushing for the 5 candidates to be interviewed publicly, but most council members disagreed.
What question for these potential county administrators do you have that you have to ask in private that you can't ask in public?
Mr. Chairman, there are many such questions like that that could be asked inadvertently that could open this council up for lawsuits.
That would be on the individual councilman, and I've got confidence in all 11 of you.
Council members say discussion and a vote on a new administrator could happen as soon as the next council meeting on July 9th.
What happens next is ultimately up to Gardner. Got on News 13 to continue to bring you updates on this story.
News 13 on-time traffic sponsored by Joy Law Firm. Just call Joy.
We'll take a look at your traffic flows from Conemaugh down through Carolina Forest, up and down the Grand Strand. Things are looking good from Garden City all the way up the Grand Strand to Little River, but we do still, again, where Taylor is, take a look there around Loris, Liberty Street, that building fire at Sanderson Street. So be careful for that. If you could be heading out there, you could be rerouted around that. And your drive time's not too bad. A lot of green out there still. 5 minutes on 501 from 544 to Carolina Forest. For the PD and for the border belt in our area, no accidents to tell you about. And in and around Florence, seeing things really looking good. Not really too congested out there as you have a 5-minute commute on North 52 from 76 to I-95.
We have a quick traffic alert for you this morning in Conway. This is for drivers there. Today, the intersection of 12th Avenue and Oak Street will be shut down. The city posted these pictures yesterday saying crews are going to work to replace an old pipe. Drivers are just asked to avoid the area while the crews are working.
New this morning, 2 people died after a head-on crash. According to the South Carolina Highway Patrol, it happened on Southern Crest Drive around 11:15 last night. That's about 3.5 miles south of Loris. A dirt bike driver was traveling south on Southern Crest Drive when it collided head-on with another dirt bike traveling north in the southbound lane. Both drivers weren't wearing helmets. They both died on the scene. The South Carolina Highway Patrol investigates this crash. Stay with News 13 for updates to this story.
And crews responded to an overturned car in Myrtle Beach. Here's some video of the scene there. This happened around 5:15 last night in the area of Seaboard Street. Myrtle Beach Fire Rescue said everyone in the car got out safely and no one was seriously hurt.
Right now, murals are going up in downtown Myrtle Beach. You can see there on your screen, work's already started on the first one. It's part of an initiative to make downtown Myrtle Beach more beautiful.
We are mainly focused on historic downtown Myrtle Beach in terms of revitalization, but the mural project is kind of a bridging the gap between the ocean front and the historic side of Myrtle Beach.
Our News 13 digital reporter Matt Fortin has the full story online at our website. Head to WBTW.com for more on how this project came to be and just how many murals we can expect in downtown Myrtle.
Happening today, it is National HIV Testing Day. According to South Carolina DHEC, there were nearly 20,000 cases of HIV in the Palmetto State at the end of 2017. So today from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m., Little River Medical Center is hosting a free HIV screening at this Walgreens in Conway. People that we actually spoke to at the Little River Medical Center said that having a National Day of Testing Awareness is important because although they do the free testing year-round, national recognition can help ease the stigma. The tests offered today are free, and people will get their results in about 60 seconds. Emma Welch is the outreach coordinator at the Little River Medical Center, and she says that we don't talk about HIV enough.
People don't want to talk about it, but it's something that we need to talk about. We need to let people know that it is still around, that it's not, you're not going to die from it anymore. You don't have to think about it like it was back in the 80s, what you've heard or what you knew.
And in our morning crime tracker, Conway police ask for your help identifying these two people. Officers say they're involved in a shoplifting case that happened at a Walmart in Conway earlier this month. Contact Conway Police if you know anything. There's plenty of warning on social media about vehicle break-ins from law enforcement. And lately, they've been the target of those break-ins.
Exactly what happened to a deputy in Robeson County in his very own driveway. The Robeson County Sheriff's deputy posted this video of 3 people walking up his driveway. You can see they first walk to his truck, then they go to the patrol car. You can see them using flashlights to try and look inside. The deputy says there were several break-ins in his neighborhood just this week.
And it doesn't stop there. Authorities say they stole a car. Lumberton police say it's a white Nissan Rogue with South Carolina tag NRK 466. If you know anything, call Lumberton Police. In a News 13 special report, a lot of people have their first experience with opioids when they recover from surgery.
They're often prescribed to help with the short-term post-op pain. But both doctors and police admit they could become a gateway to a possible addiction.
Now, evolving technology in some of our local operating rooms could help reduce that risk. It's being used for very common surgeries.
It's been very interesting. I've been recording my data over the last year and a half, and we've seen that there's less narcotic usage.
Tonight at 6, News 13's Megan Miller gets an exclusive look at the robotic technology that some think could help our local opioid crisis.
She'll take you inside the OR to explain how that technology changes the way some doctors prescribe painkillers.
Coming up at News 13 this morning, earlier this year, we told you how Governor McMaster vetoed over 24 bills during this year's session. We're going to hear how lawmakers overrode those vetoes when we return.
First, from the Storm Tracker weather team, here's your fast track forecast.
Look at Thursday morning, taking a look down at Georgetown, seeing again some of those clouds rolling their way through the area, some blue skies up there as well, as we're going to see a good mix of sun and clouds as we go throughout our day today, much like yesterday. Not expecting that thick cloud cover for the afternoon like yesterday, but again, mostly sunny skies and still hot and humid, especially inland. Storm Tracker radar showing the dry conditions. Unfortunately, with the clouds not really coming any moisture. High pressure still in control, moving closer to the coast. We'll have some onshore flow as we go throughout the day today, keeping the beaches kind of in check. Still going to be hot and humid, but not quite as hot as we're going to be inland. 78 at 9 a.m. in Florence. 87 by lunch and 94 this afternoon. There's those winds out of the east and then southeast. Unfortunately, of course, being so far away from the beaches, Florence is not really helping that onshore flow, so you're still about 94 as we go throughout the day today. With those winds out of the southeast, about 6 to 12 miles an hour. And your future track showing again the dry conditions. There comes that flow. Can't completely rule out a stray shower or thunderstorm, but again, rain chances remain very low as we go throughout the next couple of days, really for the rest of the week into the start of the weekend. Again, looking at the same thing for maybe late Friday afternoon, could potentially see a stray shower or thunderstorm just because we're increasing that humidity a little bit more Friday, a little bit more for Saturday as well. But each one of these days, nice starts to the day, muggy starts, and it's going to get muggier as we go into the weekend. Maybe a stray shower thunderstorm in the afternoon. 88 to 90 for the beaches, 92 to 94 inland, maybe a 95 there for Kingstree, but mostly sunny, a little hotter, of course, inland. Winds out of the east-southeast, about 6 to 12 miles an hour. And for your beach forecast, a nice day. Low tide's coming up at 9:35. High tide's coming up at 3:53. For tonight, of course, we have 70 to 74. Again, some spots down into the upper 60s. 88 to 94 for Friday and for Saturday. And again, with increased humidity as we go into and through the weekend, we'll start to see a little bit better chances for maybe a stray shower storm. We'll talk more about that coming up. Back to you.
Horry County Public Works say that they've suspended all road closures for Bay Road until July 8th.
Officials say they will continue to work in the area, but it shouldn't impact drivers. Work will primarily be within Myrtle Beach Golf and Yacht Club and on River Reach Drive.
This morning, deputies in Robeson County are searching for this Lumberton man who they say disappeared. 24-year-old Christopher Williams is 6 feet tall and weighs around 240 pounds. He has brown eyes and black hair. Williams was last seen wearing black athletic shorts and no shirt at his home sometime in the morning of June 23rd. If you know anything about where he could be, contact the Robeson County Sheriff's Office.
Right now, Horry County Police continue to look for the person who started shooting at a bar. The police report says it happened Tuesday night. Officials say it started with a fight over a pool game at the Sun Up Bar on Soxtee Boulevard. The witness told police the suspect left after the fight, but then came back and started shooting at the building and at the cars in the parking lot. No one was hit. So far this morning, no word of any arrests. In our State House watch this morning, state lawmakers were back in Columbia to handle some unfinished business.
25 of the governor's 28 budget vetoes were overridden during a special session. Last month, Governor McMaster vetoed a bill that would expand criminal charges eligible for conditional discharge or probation to include disorderly conduct.
We have too many people that have criminal records right now for various reasons that can't get a job. And we should create mechanisms by which, if law enforcement agrees, somebody can turn the page.
The conditional discharge would have to be approved by the judge and prosecutor. It would allow someone to complete community service or a program to have the charge expunged.
That law is now in effect after getting overridden, and that budget starts July 1st.
Now, coming up, 2 small children were said to be victims of sexual abuse at a Myrtle Beach strip club. What the 2 suspects in this case are sentenced to coming up.
And how one group made a stop on the Grand Strand to honor the lives of first responders who died in the line of duty.
First, from the Storm Tracker weather team, here's your fast track forecast.
We'll take a look out over Myrtle Beach, and again, seeing a few clouds out there to start our day today. A few more than we had yesterday. So right now, partly cloudy skies. We will see mostly sunny skies throughout the day, just an off and on mix of sun and clouds. And again, temperatures at the beaches in the mid 70s, anywhere from 73 to 74. You're 70 for Georgetown, Conway, Whiteville, 72 for Florence, which is actually much cooler than that 77 you had yesterday. 64 for Hartsville and Sherrill, also cooler in the mid 60s there. Mid to upper 60s for the dew points as well, so still muggy out there this morning. Not oppressive. Didn't hit you in the face like it, of course, typically does in August and September, but this is going to be going up as we go into and throughout the weekend. Workday forecast, nice start to the day today. By the time you get through with that morning commute, about 9 a.m., you'll be right around 80 degrees. And again, a mix of sun and clouds. Winds will be out of the northeast. High pressure will slide its way a little further offshore. East wind as we go throughout lunch, 85. So that's going to keep us from heating up quite as much with that onshore flow throughout the day today. Myrtle Beach top out about 88 degrees, and you'll be back down to about 85 for that drive home. So not quite as hot as we go throughout the day today, but the heat and humidity will be increasing throughout the weekend, as well as some small rain chances. We'll talk more about that coming up. Back to you.
2 people are sentenced to 15 years for subjecting 2 small children to sexual abuse at a Myrtle Beach strip club.
Police say it happened at the old Shea Joey Club in Myrtle Beach. Officials say that the 4-year-old children were forced to perform sex acts. Lindsay Honeycutt and Ambrose Sevener got 15 years.
The prosecution says it had little physical evidence in the case and relied on the testimony of 4-year-olds. However, Honeycutt decided to help the prosecution by confirming what the children said.
She was receiving pressure, from her co-defendants to not give a statement, to not cooperate. If we all just hung together, we could make it through this trial. But the bottom line on that is that she would have had to take the witness stand.
Ambrose Sevener took an Alford plea deal for his involvement. That means he didn't admit guilt, but he accepted that he'd likely be found guilty in trial. A third suspect, Peter Sparakis, got 20 years last year without any chance for parole. A North Carolina veteran will be medically evaluated after police found him with a truck full of guns and a possible explosive device in New York.
The suspect, Timothy Payne, has PTSD. Family members believe that's what led the suspect to post threatening things on local college campuses and send threats to our state's General Assembly.
He was upset with the North Carolina State Assembly. He was sending somewhat threatening letters to them. Bottom line is he just needed help. He was misguided. He wasn't about to hurt anybody, but you don't poke the bear.
Payne's father says he feels his son's arrest might be a good thing. He believes Timothy can finally get some of the help that he needs. Check this out, 29 bicyclists who are riding across South Carolina for a cause stopped in Horry County. They are riders with the Carolina Brotherhood Honoring the Fallen and Their Families organization.
The group rested for about 30 minutes at the Horry County Fire Rescue Station in Ketchuptown for some drinks and snacks. According to its Facebook page, the mission is to give emotional and financial support for the families of those who lost their lives in the line of duty in the Carolinas.
All right, still to come on News 13 this morning, the latest in a helicopter crash out of the Low Country. What SLED officials say happened in just a bit. And sticking to the air, more problems for Boeing's 737 MAX aircraft. What new issues the FAA discovered on the other side of the break.
First, from the Storm Tracker weather team, here's your fast track forecast.
We'll take a look out over the inlet. As you can see there, things are looking good as we're seeing some clouds out there to start our day today. As we're looking at another hot and humid day, really inland. The beach is not going to be quite as hot, but still it is coming towards the end of June, so we have the heat and humidity around. Temperatures are still going to be above average. And again, just for the beaches, it's going to be in check today with some onshore flow, which means upper 80s instead of 90, but probably feeling more like 90 anyway. Storm Tracker radar, dry, high pressures in control, moving its way further offshore. That's providing us with some onshore flow, and will do so as we go tomorrow and into the weekend ahead of this. We're going to see this hanging out here as we go throughout the next couple of days, finally dropping its way into the Carolinas as we go late Sunday into early on Monday. Still not going to bring us much for rain chances, not going to do anything to cool us off. Beach forecast for the day today, 74 now, 85 by lunch, and 88 this afternoon. You were 89 yesterday. The only reason why you were 89 yesterday is because of those clouds that rolled in the afternoon. But winds are going to be out of the southeast, as you can see. North now, but that high pressure will slide a little further offshore, bringing us some east-southeast wind. And again, keeping us in the upper 80s, but still mid-90s inland. And again, relatively dry, not completely maybe. We could see maybe some low rain chances for today and for tomorrow. Rain chances very low as we go throughout the rest of the week, much like they have been for the past couple of days. Rain chances starting to step up a little bit as we go into the weekend, but still low because we just don't have anything out there. We have some humidity. Humidity going to step up a little bit more for Sunday. 88 to 90 at the beaches, 92 to 94 inland. And with a little bit more humidity Sunday and a little higher temperatures as well, we're going to be back to 90 at the beaches, 96 inland, feeling more like 100 though. Afternoon storm chances are still there, but again, few and far between. Same thing as we go throughout the first half of next week, and it looks like we could possibly heat up a little bit more by the time we get to midweek, maybe even up to the upper 90s, but definitely feeling like triple digits. Here's your 7-day forecast, 94 all the way through Saturday, then back up to 96, and again, could heat up maybe a little bit more. Keep an eye on the models for that. Some suggest maybe upper 90s by Wednesday, but again, really all of them suggesting very low rain chances, so really nothing changing there. Same thing for the beaches, upper 80s through Saturday, then back to 90, but feeling like triple digits with some hit or miss late day showers and storms. Back to you.
All right, James, thank you. Right now, the Grand Strand Humane Society says they're full. Because of this, all adoptions are half price this week. That includes dogs, cats, puppies, and kittens. If you're interested in adopting, stop by the Humane Society on Mr. Joe White Avenue in Myrtle Beach.
The FAA is investigating a state law enforcement division helicopter crash in the Low Country. Went down yesterday afternoon at the Somerville Airport in Dorchester County. A SLED spokesperson said that it happened during searches for marijuana. The pilot was hurt but is expected to be okay. This is the first time a SLED helicopter has crashed in the agency's history.
Another issue for Boeing and the 737 MAX jet. The FAA has identified a new risk that the aircraft manufacturer must address before the grounded jet can return to service. Sources familiar with the matter say a series of simulator test flights revealed a flaw in the computer system. The failure involved a microprocessor that could point the plane in a downward position. The FAA says they're following a thorough process, not a prescribed timeline, for returning the Boeing 737 MAX to passenger service.
Medical professionals in the Carolinas say a numbing agent that they often use is now in short supply.
What Drug and Surgery Center in North Carolina says is at a critical stage. Next on News 13 This Morning.